Students Union, as the provincial chairs of the university students, as we are condemning the approval of the arrest of the students here in Zimbabwe, and we are calling against all impeachments that are being done. So we want to respect the Day of the African Child that is being realized by all university students across all tertiary institutions in Zimbabwe. As we are calling here, I have the National Treasurer General here, Vekesai Mavengano, who is presiding over the arrest and seeing and calling upon the arrest of the students here in Zimbabwe to come to halt, because as Zimbabwe National Students Union, we call upon equal rights of every student across tertiary institutions. We understand that some other students have been tortured, arrested and abducted, but we call upon to the respect of the students across all tertiary institutions. Thank you, Treasurer General.
All students are holding. All students are holding. We call upon. We want to stop all the dignity of students. The Day of the African Child is a story of the black child. Our students are holding. We condemn all the arrest of all the students who are arrested on the 16th of June 2024. Our students are holding.
Our students are holding. Our students are holding. We are coming here as Zinasu, Zimbabwe National Students Union, as we are calling here so that the government respect the students here in Zimbabwe, as we know that some students on the 16th of June, as they were realizing the Day of the African Child, they were arrested and abducted and are in remand. So we call upon the students to be respected here in Zimbabwe, and the future of Zimbabwe relies on the students. Ahoy, Zimbabwe, ahoy!
Well, here we are. I apologize. I apologize there. We're just getting distracted. Good evening to you, of your witnesses joining us live on ZimEye. We have a group of youth leadership. This is a leadership of the Zinasu, and engaging us tonight. Good evening, ladies and gents. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You're audible.
Yes. Okay, beautiful. My eyesight is not so good today, but I've got Wengesai, I have got Pritchard, and I've got Mutsa, and then I've got Reggie. Okay, so can you maybe just briefly introduce yourselves one after the other, and just tell us what's going on here with this protest? Can I call it a protest, a demo? Is it a speech? Is it a show? What exactly is this? And why are you talking like this today?
Revolutionary Levitos, I answer to the name Vengesai Vashmavengano, currently the Treasurer General for Zimbabwe National Students Union. So the message is clear. The pain and the agony resides in the bosom of all students and all us as students leaders. The arrest of students, who are commemorating the DAC, which is the Day of the African Child, is something that is a human rights violations catalog. The whole idea is about when you are celebrating the DACs, we are commemorating the story of the black African child. So the whole idea is about we have the pain and agony in our bosoms that such acts of brutalizing and arresting students is a bad thing. Thank you very much.
Okay, who's next?
It's me, Reggie. Thank you so much. My name is Regis Mzambi, the Zinasu chairperson of Mashonaland Province. So this video that we are doing, we are standing with the students that were arrested during the Day of the African Child. I understand there were a couple of people that were there, and amongst the population that was there. And it became a system that the government is arresting students without any respect. Students being part of the population, the greater populace of the economy, and the great treasures that we hold as students. So in that line, we as the student council are standing in solidarity with the students, demanding the release of the students since their arrest is not constitutional. So we were there, we were reflecting with the students back then to Glenview I1, which serves as the most populated high school in Southern Africa. We understand, and with the plight that the Soweto students that stood in the year 1976 were high school students that said a word, and that word brought a revolutionary change. So in that respect, we shared this good day with the students amongst the high schools. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much. And who's next here who can give us another update? And I'm hoping that when they come in, please explain to us what really happened with these arrests. What are you seeing in the current arrest? What's your interpretation of where things are now at? Is it Pritchard? Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes. Shoot. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll give a brief history of the Day of the African Child. It was a resistance by the South students, particularly at Mashinini, Nkubutso Tiro, Solomon Kalushi Matla, who had said to apartheid. One of the first things they did was banning written in Africa as a way to show their defiance to the government. And this is the first time that we are seeing that students are being arrested. The same way that they've arrested students here in Zimbabwe and the people here in Zimbabwe. It is the same way people were being arrested during apartheid and people were being arrested during Smith's era. It is known world over that dictators misuse the law and they molest the law so that it suits their narrative, so that they can abuse citizens. And as can be seen right now, the government in Zimbabwe, the government in Harare, is abusing these said laws by arresting people who their only crime was commemorating the history of Solomon Kalushi Mahlangu, who said, "For if I die, my blood is going to water the fruits of the revolution." So these are the fruits of the revolution that we're now seeing. So that's why the government is arresting them, because they are not strong, but they are afraid of the citizens because they know the power of the citizens. When the citizens unite, they shall govern and they shall rule. When the poor get hungry, they shall eat the rich. And we are now seeing it in Zimbabwe that the poor are now hungry and they now want to eat the rich. That's why the government is reacting in this way, that they beat people who even come to see people who were arrested. They beat the elderly, which is now uncalled for, because you can't be going around harassing each and every person that you see around. Thank you, Siva.
Right. I think we now need the lady. Is she here, Muta? Muta, are you here? If Musa doesn't speak, then maybe let's go to Students Command. Students Commander.
Hello.
Yes, Student Commander. Yeah,
Is
shoot,
Simba
please.
still speaking?
Yes, I was speaking and I was asking, I was introducing Musa, but apparently I think she's disconnected. So I said then we'll move to Student Commander.
Hello, hello. Yes,
Can
I'm
anyone
here.
still hear Simba?
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good one.
They
Okay,
can now hear
okay,
you.
okay, beautiful. So let's move to Student Commander if Musa is not here.
Hello, hello. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, please tell us what is going on right now, and from your desk, what can you relate to the public surrounding the event that you are speaking on video?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. First, let me start by saying that we condemn what the state is doing to our fellow youth, to fellow students, and we stand in solidarity with the youth that were arrested on the 16th of June for commemorating the International Day of the African Child. Moving on, I want to say that the government of Zimbabwe must respect freedom of association and freedom of assembly. There are rights that are constituted in our constitution, so they must be respected and they remain sacrosanct. So what I want to say to the public is that as Lenmo Juda Jongwe once said, that world over, students or youth are known for initiating and executing revolutions, and Zimbabwe is not an exception. So what the regime of Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa understood is that there is power in youth, or there is power in numbers, what we call people power. So they will try by all means to thwart each and every space that we can use, each and every alternative that we can use as the youth to claim our rights, or to claim our democratic space, or to fight for a democratic free Zimbabwe. So the government is now on steroids in thwarting our rights, and in trying to stop the tide of a revolution whose time has come, to try and stop the will of the people. Many youths, we constitute about 67.7% of the population, and 90%, if I'm not mistaken, of our youth are unemployed. So we are not here, youth are not happy with the current situation in the country. So whenever we try to voice out our issues, the government will always try by all means necessary or unnecessary, like what we witnessed on the 16th of June. They will try by all means to always thwart our democratic space. That's why you see them arresting 79 youths, including Senator Jameson Timber, to make it 80 people who were arrested for no reason, just for gathering at a private residence and commemorate the International Day of the African Child. MOPA allows people to gather in their private residence without a police clearance or anything. But because the government is afraid, they will do their shenanigans and so forth. I thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. And I know that we have a few people who are supposed to be inside tonight here, and unfortunately, I think they just came in and dropped. Where are we? And I would like to end with this. How is this going to be handled now that the police have done this? How are you projecting Zinasu, the movement, looking into the future after this abuse? Maybe we could end on this one. Talk to us, talk to the people, engage the masses, and inspire us if need be on what must happen hereafter.
Thank you very much. The message is very clear. As the students we are already galvanized, the ground is fertile, and the current scenario is that if our students are not released by Monday, we start to initiate a clear demonstrations call for the clear mandate that all the students should be released. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Next, who's gonna go next? Maybe each person, and then we end in the order that you have in your hierarchy.
Thank you so much, Simba. The situation that I see now, with the way the police brutality is being taken into account here in this country, the students are fed up of the actions, and we once pushed the fiscal discipline because of the high fees rates that were once hiked by the Minister of Tertiary and Higher Education, but they did not give us a listening ear. And that alone showed that they have no remorse in whatever actions they are doing. And the youth are frustrated because the kind of a lifestyle we are living at the tertiary institutions is something else, you know. So, as the students, I think, like what the Treasurer General said, we are like a flight cleared for runoff. We are running behind our schedule, and we have tolerated enough. But now the students are taking a greater and a bolder step to claim their freedom, to claim their respect until the voice is heard. I think that's our position as of now. Thank you.
Yeah, please guide us in your hierarchy so that we can have these concluding remarks. Take us to the next
Oh,
person. Yeah.
okay. I think I'm the last one, right?
Um, you folks know each other, so just guide us. 'Cause I don't know your rank,
Oh,
so
okay, no problem.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I think me as the general member of the union, I'm the last one. So I will say that we are very clear is the student movement. We are very clear, and our message is very clear. Eh, I think if you look at our social media handles, we have just launched a campaign, coined "Stop Police Brutality Now." We have started it as an online campaign so that we gather momentum and we mobilize other youths and other students to stand in solidarity with our fellow youth. So if the state or security forces does not comply with our demands, we will use the streets as an alternative route. It's enshrined in our constitution. It allows us to petition the government or to demonstrate. So first of all, we will try to dialogue, and we will see where the legal route is going to take us. Uh, if it doesn't take us anywhere, of course, we have no option. We have no other option than to use the streets as a point of entry, so that we come back to the dialoguing table until the state listens to our demands. I think that's what I can say.
Take us through to the end, folks. Tishta Chipedza, take us through to the end, please. You are the
O-
leaders, so you know each other. Thank you.
okay, Simba. As a student movement alumni, we stand clear that whatever the students decide to do, we are going to support them. Because world over, students are known for initiating and executing revolutions, and Zimbabwe is not an exception. We are seeing the students in Kenya right now leading the mass revolution. We saw Malaya in Indonesia. We saw the Arab Spring. It is not new. In South Africa, 1976, they led the revolution. And as Zimbabwean students, they are also going to lead the revolution, and we are going to support them. Because we are not afraid of prisons, because we believe those are hostels built by the government to accommodate us, because they cannot accommodate us outside. Even if they arrest us, we are going to fight from inside, the same way they fought from the inside. And the streets are going to be our point of entry because we are already street kids, because our parents cannot afford to pay rentals for our accommodation in the universities. So we are going to fight tooth and nail until victory. And victory is always certain for the students because the students have never failed. If you look into history, the students are always winning. Thank you, Simba.
Well, thank you very much. Our viewers, witnesses, this is the Zinasu leadership or the Zinasu group, and they are protesting over the arrest of the youths who were arraigned a few days ago. And I was hoping that we had a female. Mutsa is here. Mutsa, do you want to give us your closing remarks? Because it doesn't make sense for our session to end without hearing the other side. Is Mutsa here? Okay, Mutsa seems quiet.
I think due to the geological location, she might be experiencing some network
Some network
interruptions.
challenges. I see. I see.
Yes.
Oh no, no. Thank you very much. And yeah, Zinasu leadership or both leadership and membership for giving us context to this video or this incident that has happened, and do update us in the coming few days, if you can, of whatever that is happening that our viewers, readers, and listeners should know. Did you hear me? I think you're all
Thank
quiet,
you.
folks.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So we're going to just briefly rerun your clip and then we will end. Thank you, folks. Look forward to catching up soon.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Ahoy, my students, ahoy. Ahoy. Ahoy, my students, ahoy. Ahoy. We come here as Zimbabwe National Students Union, as the provincial chairs of the university students, as we are condemning the approval of the rest of the students here in Zimbabwe, and we are calling against all impeachments that are being done. So we want to respect the Day of the African Child that is being realized by all university students across all tertiary institutions in Zimbabwe. As we are calling here, I have the National Treasurer General here, Wekesai Mavengano, who is presiding over the arrest and seeing and calling upon the arrest of the students here in Zimbabwe to come to halt, because as Zimbabwe National Students Union, we call upon equal rights of every student across tertiary institutions. We understand that some other students have been tortured, arrested and abducted, but we call upon to the respect of the students across all tertiary institutions. Thank you, Treasurer General.
All students ahoy! All students ahoy! We call upon, we want to stop all the dignity of students. The Day of the African Child is a story of the black child. Our students ahoy! We condemn all the arrest of all the students who were arrested on the 16th of June 2024. Ahoy students ahoy!
Ahoy, students, ahoy! Ahoy, students, ahoy! We are coming here as Zinasu, Zimbabwe National Students Union, as we are calling here so that the government respect the students here in Zimbabwe, as we know that some students on the 16th of June, as they were realizing the Day of the African Child, they were arrested and abducted and are in remand. So we call upon the students to be respected here in Zimbabwe, and the future of Zimbabwe relies on the students. Ahoy, Zimbabwe, ahoy! Ahoy, my students, ahoy! Ahoy, my students, ahoy! We come here as Zimbabwe National Students Union, as the provincial chairs of the university students, as we are condemning the approval of the rest of the students here in Zimbabwe, and we are calling against all impeachments that are being done. So we want to respect the Day of the African Child that is being realized by all university students across all tertiary institutions in Zimbabwe. As we are calling here, I have the National Treasurer General here, Vekesai Mavengano, who is presiding over the arrest and seeing and calling upon the arrest of the students here in Zimbabwe to come to halt, because as Zimbabwe National Students Union, we call upon equal rights of every student across tertiary institutions. We understand that some other students have been tortured, arrested and abducted, but we call upon to the respect of the students across all tertiary institutions. Thank you, Treasurer General.
All students ahoy! All students ahoy! We call upon, we want to stop all the dignity of students. The day of African child is a story of the black child. Our students ahoy! We condemn all the arrest of all the students who are arrested on the 16th of June 2024. Our students ahoy!
Ahoy, students ahoy! Ahoy, students ahoy! We are coming here as Zinasu, Zimbabwe National Students Union, as we are calling here so that the government respect the students here in Zimbabwe, as we know that some students on the 16th of June, as they were realizing the day of the African child, they were arrested and abducted and are in remand. So we call upon the students to be respected here in Zimbabwe, and the future of Zimbabwe relies on the students. Ahoy, Zimbabwe, ahoy! Ahoy, my students, ahoy! Ahoy, my students, ahoy! We come here as Zimbabwe National Students Union, as the provincial chairs of the university students, as we are condemning the approval of the arrest of the students here in Zimbabwe, and we are calling against all impeachments that are being done. So we want to respect the day of the African child that is being realized by all university students across all tertiary institutions in Zimbabwe. As we are calling here, I have the National Treasurer General here, Vekesai Mavengano, who is presiding over the arrest and seeing and calling upon the arrest of the students here in Zimbabwe to come to halt, because as Zimbabwe National Students Union, we call upon equal rights of every student across tertiary institutions. We understand that some other students have been tortured, arrested and abducted, but we call upon to the respect of the students across all tertiary institutions. Thank you, Treasurer General.
All students ahoy! All students ahoy! We call upon, we want to stop all the dignity of students. The day of African child is a story of the black child. Our students ahoy! We condemn all the arrest of all the students who are arrested on the 16th of June 2024. Our students ahoy!
Ahoy, students ahoy! Ahoy, students ahoy! We are coming here as Zinasu, Zimbabwe National Students Union, as we are calling here so that the government respect the students here in Zimbabwe, as we know that some students on the 16th of June, as they were realizing the day of the African child, they were arrested and abducted and are in remand. So we call upon the students to be respected here in Zimbabwe, and the future of Zimbabwe relies on the students. Ahoy, Zimbabwe, ahoy! Ahoy, my students, ahoy! Ahoy, my students, ahoy! We come here as Zimbabwe National Students Union, as the provincial chairs of the university students, as we are condemning the approval of the arrest of the students here in Zimbabwe, and we are calling against all impeachments that are being done. So we want to respect the day of the African child that is being realized by all university students across all tertiary institutions in Zimbabwe. As we are calling here, I have the National Treasurer General here, Vekesai Mavengano, who is presiding over the arrest and seeing and calling upon the arrest of the students here in Zimbabwe to come to halt, because as Zimbabwe National Students Union, we call upon equal rights of every student across tertiary institutions. We understand that some other students have been tortured, arrested and abducted, but we call upon to the respect of the students across all tertiary institutions. Thank you, Treasurer General.
All students ahoy! All students ahoy! We call upon, We want to restore all the dignity of students. The day of the African child is a story of the black child. Our students are all. We condemn all the arrest of all the students who were arrested on the 16th of June 2024. Our students are all. Our students are all. Our students are all. We are coming here as Zinasu, Zimbabwe National Students Union, as we are calling here so that the government respect the students here in Zimbabwe, as we know that some students on the 16th of June, as they were realizing the day of the African child, they were arrested and abducted and are in remand. So we call upon the students to be respected here in Zimbabwe, and the future of Zimbabwe relies on the students. Ahoy Zimbabwe, ahoy! Ahoy, my students, ahoy! Ahoy, my students, ahoy! We come here as Zimbabwe National Students Union, as the provincial chairs of the university students, as we are condemning the approval of the arrest of the students here in Zimbabwe, and we are calling against all impeachments.
This is Zimai Media, broadcasting all around the world, on the spot, on the dot.